Hey everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Ash and I am here with a May 2023 review roundup. In this video I'm going to be talking about a whole host of games I've been playing, mainly on Xbox this last month, but we've got all sorts of different styles and genres to look at. But before we jump into the episode, quick shout out to Hotel Transylvania 3 Monsters Overboard. Was released a few years ago by Outright Games and I'd previously sort of discredited it, saying I didn't enjoy it that much, but I've jumped back into it. I'm starting to play through it again for a full review video that'll be coming at some point in the next couple of weeks. But it's a sort of Pikmin-esque style game where you basically play as characters from the Hotel Transylvania movie series, and you basically command a whole host of like little bats and demons and stuff to help you progress through a variety of levels. So if you've got kids or you kind of like that sort of Pikmin style Minion-esque gameplay mode, then definitely check this one out. But anyway, on to the episode, guys. Okay, first up on our list today is Boss Rush Mythology. Now, this was developed by Alexei Suslin and published by Sometimes You, who were kind to send us a copy. So, this game is basically the sort of Boss Rush style of gameplay that you get in a variety of other games, but take out all of the other chaff, all of the other parts of the game, and it's just boss fight after boss fight. So you play as a mysterious knight who travels across different worlds in search of basically the most difficult opponents, and you'll fight a whole host of bosses from sort of Greek, Scandinavian, Slavic and Egyptian mythologies, and it's basically you want to prove that you are the strongest warrior. Now, the combat system is pretty Souls-like. It's very much a lot about parrying, blocking, and hitting at the right time so you don't run out of stamina and stuff like that. Now, there is an easy difficulty mode for this game, which makes it easier for beginners because it can be quite difficult trying to get used to that sort of Souls-like style combat. But it's nice that that option's been put in there. There's 20 bosses to fight through, each of them unique in their own way. And there's 6 types of weapons and items to choose from to sort of customize your loadout. Now, this game isn't too bad. If you like that sort of boss rush style gameplay, you'll probably like this. And it's not bad for achievements. So it's an easy 1000 gamer score completion, probably about half an hour to an hour at most. You can probably do it in less than an hour if you play it right and do it right. There's also Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S and PC stacks for this, so it's a very easy 3000 gamer score in a couple of hours at most. Now, it's priced at £8.39 and it's available right now. It was released on the 10th of May 2023. Okay, next up is Horror Tale 1 Kidnapper. Now, this was released on the 7th of April 2023, developed by Euphoria Games and published by Epixa Games of Airy, those games where you fly around as the bird and Life of Fly, and they were kind of to send us a copy as well. Now, this is a sort of stealth horror game where you basically have to not be captured, not be caught and stuff like that, whilst solving puzzles and finding out like clues and stuff like that. So basically the story is in this sort of town there's children that have been going missing and stuff like that, and you're trying to find out who the kidnapper is. Now, I'll not spoil the story and stuff like that, but it's got a nice little sort of retro aesthetic feel to it. I do like the sort of art style. It's very basic, but it's a bit cel shaded as well, which I quite like. Now, this is another game that is an easy completion because it does include a sort of easy mode, I'd say. I don't want to say easy mode, it's like a ghost mode where the enemies can't see you, so you can't be caught, which means you can technically run through this with a guide in under half an hour to get a very easy 1000 gamer score. Now, I did like this. I did like the environment a bit. It was a bit different. I'm looking forward to Horror Tale 2, like the second chapter coming out as well. The game does feature 5 different locations and a nice original soundtrack as well. So definitely check this one out if you like your horror games or if you just like those easy peasy achievements. Okay, next up is Mangavania. Now, this was released on the 26th of April 2023, developed by Alexander Nikolaev, and it's published by Sometimes You, who were kind enough yet again to send us a copy. Now, this is another one of those games with a semi-decent achievements for achievement hunters, and it has a triple stack again, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Now, you'll get the full 1000 gamer score in under an hour, depending on your sort of skill level. And this is like an old school platforming action game using sort of classic pixel art style graphics. Now, on the game, this sees you playing as Yahiko, who's a young ninja who's gone to the underworld to find a cure for his brother. And you basically have to free lost souls to keep advancing through the levels. And there's secrets and secret areas to find, like Metroidvanias have. And there's dungeons, monsters, traps and stuff like that. All sorts of cool stuff. Is a fun little game. It's split up into levels. You have to complete like all 20, like the first 20 levels to unlock the full 1000 gamer score. But it's not a bad little game. I like the art style on this one. And yeah, check it out. An easy 1000G on a pretty decent game as well, in about 45 minutes to an hour. The game is priced at £4.19 on Xbox Series X and S as well, and that's what I played it on. And I believe if sometimes you used to this, I don't know if they still do, but if you own the game on one system, you can usually get a slight discount on like the Xbox One version, as long as you've got the original version, like I say, on Series X and S, you can then get a slight discount on this Xbox One, or that's what they used to do at least. So check it out. A really nice like retro style to this game. I did enjoy the art on it. Okay, we go from easy completions over to a mammoth task of a completion. Now, the next game I've been playing this last month is Graveyard Keeper. Now, this was released a while back, but they've recently released the Last Journey edition. Now, it was developed by Lazy Bear Games and published by Tiny Build, and I was lucky enough to be sent a code, so big thank you for that. So, Graveyard Keeper is basically a medieval cemetery management simulator, and it's a really hard to explain this game, but basically the Last Journey edition includes a ton of previously released DLC. So you get a Better Save Soul DLC, you get Breaking Dead DLC, Game of Crone DLC, and Stranger Sins DLC. Yes, they all have like themes that make them very similar to classic sort of IPs there, like programs and movies and stuff. Now, this game is like 100+ hours completion. It's got 2,500 gamer score available across all the DLCs in the end. And honestly, it's really, really good. Now, the only downside is there is a ton of content to get through. So basically you end up in this medieval graveyard and you basically have to upgrade it, look after it, and basically do so much stuff. Now you've got to like look after the bodies and make sure like the grass is trimmed and stuff like that. And you basically don't just have your graveyard. You start off with just your graveyard, but you'll eventually expand into other ventures. You're obviously you've got like resources and stuff you've got to collect, and it's full of like dark humor as well, I must admit. And like it's full of funny like ethical dilemmas, like do you want to like use proper meat for your festival, or do you just want to chop up the bodies basically? And it's really hard to describe. It takes a lot to get into it. Like throws a lot at you right at the beginning. I ended up having to look at like a video tutorials, like sort of like what to do first in Graveyard Keeper, because I just got a bit lost. There's just so much to it, which isn't a bad thing. Like there's tons and tons of content. Like I say, over 100 hours worth of content. So there's so much to do. There's tons and tons and tons and tons, and there's all the DLC added on top of it as well. But it's one of those games, you'll go around crafting, you'll go around gathering resources and stuff like that. Imagine Stardew Valley, but it's in a graveyard and it's a bit more macabre. Do you know what I mean? That's what it is. It's funny, it's enjoyable, and I highly, highly recommend it. Now, the last Journey Edition is priced at £41.74 on Xbox, which is a bit pricey if you're not sure you're going to like this game. But you can buy the standalone game at £15.99 and then buy all the DLCs extra. Obviously, you do get a saving if you buy it on the bundle, basically. But if you haven't got an Xbox, you can get a fantastic price of all the DLC and all the content and stuff like that on Steam. At the moment there's a sale on Steam. At the time of recording this, it's 70% off, so you can pick up the last Journey Edition for like £15, which is absolutely crazy. Tiny Build's done a great job here. It's really hard to describe because there's just so much to it, but there's all sorts of stuff, or loads of expansions included, like with the DLC, which also improve the storyline as well. It's not just like odd little bits. It does have like an ongoing story, which it'll take you hours and hours and hours to get through. So check that one out. It's really, really enjoyable. Okay, last up is a doozy of a game. I actually really enjoyed this one. It is Intruders, Hide and Seek. Now, this was developed by Tessera Studios and published by Daedalic Entertainment, and they were kind enough to send us a copy for this review as well. Now, this was originally released as a VR game. It's since been ported over to the Xbox in the end of February 2023. Playable on Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S. Now, in this game, which is a sort of hide and seek style first person stealth game, you're basically playing a kid called Ben, who is the eldest son of the Richter family. You basically go on vacation, you're all staying in a nice country house, and basically these three intruders come into your house, take your parents hostage, and basically it's like a horror movie. You know those films where they're all in a cabin in the woods, or they're on a holiday and stuff like that, and then suddenly they're all being restrained and stuff. Imagine that. They've got your parents restrained, your sister's hiding in the house, and you're there as well, and you basically have to find a way to save your family. So you've got to walk around the house, sneaking and stuff like that. If you sort of raise suspicion or arousal to the enemies, they'll come after you, so you then have to go and hide in a variety of different sort of hide and seek places and stuff like that. It's a very sort of atmospheric and nerve-wracking hostage sort of game. Honestly, it keeps you on your toes. Now, it's not the longest of games. It does have two different endings. I'll not spoil them, but you can probably work out roughly what they're going to be. And you'll get through it in about 4 or so hours. Now, gameplay portions, like I say, it's pretty straightforward. It reminds me of the Jurassic Park VR game that came out recently, where you've got to hide from the velociraptors and stuff like that. It's that kind of thing. You've got to walk around and stuff, and explore the house and get to the bottom of what's going on, basically. Now, the game is full of jump scares as well. There's a fair few jump scares placed in there that work great. And, yeah, there's a lot of suspense. It's one of those type of games. Now, you're going to see some blood, violence and stuff like that, dead bodies. So if those sort of things aren't your cup of tea, you may want to give this a miss. But it's a pretty straightforward game. You walk around, you hide, and you've got to sort of get to the end of the game through a variety of different chapters. Now, there are achievements in this game. They're not the most difficult to get. Most of them are like complete the chapters, do certain things. The only things you're probably going to need help with are getting all of the collectibles and all of the documents, so you may miss them in a single playthrough. But the game itself is fun, it looks good. It's priced at £17.99. And like I say, it's not a super long experience, but for what it is, it's not bad at all. And like I say, if you want to try this in VR, it's apparently available on Oculus as well as Steam as well, so you can check it out with full VR on those systems. But that's that for these videos this week, guys. Hope you've enjoyed them. I've enjoyed playing them all this last month. We'll do another roundup probably at the end of June, maybe July, depending on sort of what's been released and how many games I've been getting through. But other than that, keep an eye out on the channel. We will be doing a host of reviews and podcast episodes spread out across the days of the week. You know the drill, the same stuff as normal. But hit that like button, hit subscribe, and we'll see you very soon for more gaming content. Bye for now.